cause your boy is so deaf.
Yo, welcome to Plug In special edition. This is Mr. J. I'm here with one of my dear friends and a key part to the Plug In album, which is available right now with LaGrande DiCaprio. All streaming sites, you can pick it up. Make sure you go to the mrj.bandcamp.com to pick up your edited copy for the kids as well. And so Mr. Justin Coke LaGrande is in the house, live from New Orleans. And, sometimes he goes by the 8-bit animal, but on the streets and in public, or if you at the parade, most of the time people just holler Coke. That's how you know. That's how you know the folks know who you are and where you came from. What's up, my brother?
Ain't nothing, brother. What's going on?
Man, it's a good day, bro.
Yeah, it is, man.
It's blessings. We keep waking up, and so we got work to do. And so
there you go.
You a gamer, and so I'm lit. I'm lit with the blue.
I see you with the super light up, super light up joints, man. Like
I'm on fire. Fire.
Boy out here looking like he about to stream some Fortnite.
Yeah, I'm streaming whatever's to be streamed. You know, look here, I got a special guest. I got people popping in. You know, live from the West Coast.
Yo,
LaGrande DiCaprio.
Yo.
What's
up,
man?
I just had to get my technicals on.
Long time no see.
What's up, Coke? What it do, man?
Ain't nothing, baby. Ain't nothing at all, man. I'm out here living like I was telling Mr. J just now. You know, everything above ground, a good one, man. You wake up, something in front of you, you got to keep punching, man. Make sure that will drop.
Yes, sir, man.
That's it.
Man, I'm still bumping the project, man. Coke, man. You put it down, man. You like the big. I call you the big Rube of Tiger Woods, man.
I'm
like
glad,
straight up, man.
I'm glad it worked out, bro. Like I was sitting here when y'all approached me with it. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do or how I would approach it, and I just sat there and I listened to some of the songs. I started listening to the songs. I'm like, okay, I could say this about this because. You know, we all was bootlegging CDs at some point. You know, we was all hustling. We was all hustling music, man. I would, me and the homies, man, working them. We would just print up CDs, and I would go out to visit my people out in Reserve, and I would just go and just with a backpack with CDs in it, just sling CDs out there. You know what I'm saying? And come back with food money for like 2 weeks.
He was country pimping.
Come back with Dreamcast game money. You know what I'm saying?
Man, Dreamcast.
Hey Don, look, he was he talking about he was going out on the weekend with a bag full of CDs and coming up. Meanwhile, you was on the blocks in the city getting pulled over by the popos because they thinking you bootlegging other people and you out here selling your own. You got your own bag. So
I got a quick story.
Jacked up.
I was at Xavier. Obviously, I went to school Xavier, and I had a bag of CDs because I was working with Treese at the time. I was working with Treese at the Q93.
Q93, yeah.
And I had like a bag of promo CDs and I had a bag of my CDs. But then also with the CDs, they gave like these little lights. They look like infrared. They look like something like this, but they were like small though. And NOPD pulled me over on campus. Like snatched me up. Like, hey man, what you got in the bag? And I'm like, hey man, I just got some CDs. No man, hey, you gotta give me them CDs. I said, you gotta take these CDs. And one of the campus police was like, whoa. And the NOPD dude, I don't know who was with me. It had to be some of the homies, but this dude told me to my face, man, if you want, it was campus police, and I guess they knew each other. Like, man, if you wasn't on this campus, man, I would have shot you. Now, North Memphis, me, 20-something, I said, what make you think if we wasn't on this campus, I would have bust back at you? I got snatched off. Like, it's just where my head was at, but I was that passionate. Like, you're not going to take my music. And it was a young cop too. So he NOPD, you know how NOPD be.
Yeah.
We same age. I'm talking to him like he was giving me that energy, but to take my CDs at that time, no. I used to pay. I used to go to that warehouse on Carrollton, and I used to buy like 50 CDs. Go back, re-up 100 CDs, and I burn it on that burner that I had was the only standard. My daddy, I don't know what he did. My burner,
joint.
that standalone burner. I would have to.
You put one CD in here and then put
one CD in there, and you would sit there, and if it was 58 minutes, it would go 58 minutes straight up, and it was per CD.
Now let me ask you, bro, because you're talking about these big CD burners. Wes B was saying in his interview, that's how in 04. Now keep in mind when you had your burner,
after me,
right?
Yeah.
When you had your burner, this like 98, 99, 2000. So he was telling me that just like we used to use these tape decks to mix tapes and record on, plug in the Radio Shack mic, he was plugging in the Radio Shack mic, 2 of them in the back of the CD burner, and that's how they was recording. That's how they were recording their mixtapes. I never knew they had CD burners that would record live like that.
Like they had auxiliary. I could do that, but what I did. Dang, you taking me back in my NO days. Okay, so with no Guitar Center in NO, it was in Harahan. So I remember having to drive or bomb a ride from Uptown to Harahan. I would run into manufacturer. Like, you would run into everybody that did music in the city because that was the only Guitar Center that I knew. I don't know if that was River Ridge or Harahan. I just knew it was Arthur Earhart going back.
Yeah, that was
back the other way.
Elmwood.
Okay.
Elmwood, because it's still left.
It's all the same.
It's still
still
there. Yeah.
But when I would go, I was doing everything off of tapes. Like me and King Kane back in Memphis, he had this big like radio system, and I used to hook it up where I would plug the mic in the back of that joint and hang a mic up in this room. We in the hood project type whatever, and hang it straight down, run that, and then had a two thing, dual cassette joint just by the other speaker. So like the sound quality was just whatever. It was a lot of bass, but it was just terrible. So I know what Wes B talking about. I mean, we had that capability, but by that time we was recording. I had a 4-track tape machine, so I was just bouncing it from the tape machine. They call the process, I think they call it ADD or something, or AAD, like analog, digital, whatever. And then now everything's straight up digital because you had people, we was recording then, they were still recording off ADAT. That's how a few rappers in New Orleans got bootlegged because folks still snatching out ADATs. You know what I'm saying? This was pre-2005 too.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that's how we had that. That's how we got the bootleg for Checkmate like 3 months before it came out.
Oh, bro, not the Checkmate.
Yep. But nobody really liked it. So we was basically, you buy 3, you get Checkmate for free.
Wow.
yeah, that was crazy because it wasn't like what it was, Chopper City.
It wasn't like Chopper City in the Ghetto or none of the
BGs.
It's all on you.
Yep.
Hold up, I got a BG story. I got a BG story. Hold up. I was at the club, homie Glenn, Mellow Hype, and we were trying to get in it was somewhere going toward the east. So we weren't NO East. It was some club off of Claiborne, but it wasn't going toward the Knife. Well, I don't remember. I don't know if it was a convention. I don't know what it was, but it was some club going that way. Mm-hmm. And I was standing outside the club woofing. How much it costs to get in the club? Hey, baby, that's gonna be $15. I'm like, $15? Man, I got the little mixtape thing. Like, man,
the House of Blues was 10. So yeah, 15.
Yeah. I think that was like the House of Blues might have been 20. Depending on like if it was like the Greek parties.
Well, I mean, Thursday night if you came.
Oh yeah.
Early, I mean, 10 was the standard, but that was the spot. So if anybody else was charging higher than 10, and it wasn't the House of Blues, like, come on, man. So I feel you saying on that.
I'm woofing, and Mellow Hype just laughing, whatever. And there's somebody behind me like, hey, Wolf, That's all it costs? It was BG. I want to say it might have been his brother. That's all it costs? Like, you broke ass. Like, you walk by me.
He used to stand like this.
Yeah, because he you want to know something? He was
real frail.
No. He had got his weight back. This is like, might have been Chopper City a little bit. So it might have been 03, 04. But he had got his weight back. Because I'm still my size. He was bigger than me at that time. Because he a little bit tall. He like 6'1", 6'2". He a little bit taller than me.
Yeah.
And he walked in. I'm like, $15?
He must have been sober around that time.
Yeah, he was. He was good. Like, you could see it in his eyes. Like, he was good.
Yeah.
But then, after Katrina, 'cause I got little family members that lived in the NOYA. It was a lot of shenanigans happened. That it's a family members that they're not ever coming back to New Orleans based off of, I don't know what they did, but yeah, BG, man, shouts out, man. Yeah, I heard he coming home, but I don't know.
Right. Well, look, man, like we talking about this whole 10 questions thing, so people always tripping out because they're like, oh, it's all just jumbled in. That's how we speak, man. That's the brotherhood. The luxury of this platform and what we're doing. We've never really had artists kicking back, hanging, talking, sharing about their experiences and just everything that it takes to make this product dope, for the culture. So, Coke, we're going to hit you real quick, bro. Like, I mean, what's your deal, man? Like, what's your deal? This is what I know. That man hit you up, say, man, we need some interludes for the album. Kind of like Brick Rude, but from a real deep fried New Orleans South Side style. And, you turn it around in like a day. Like, what's up with that? Like, what people don't understand, because people see you. People seen you for years. Mm-hmm. So, like, I always know. I remember even when I moved and I would come down and be like, man, I'm going to be down. And like, I probably call you like a day before, like, bro, I might be at the spot at the concert. But I knew you was going to be there. Like, you get there early and you'll stay late. And it's just the loyalty and your love for the hip hop culture is like, it's ridiculous. It's almost like, how the people who they saying, man, they more in love with going to church than God.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. It's like, I'm not gonna say you like whack music, because you don't, but just the whole experience of being around, the event is a big deal to you. You know what I'm saying? And just being a homie, being a friend, like, I recognize that, because that extends over not only to the shows and the parties, but like, man, we go way back with when we were really getting in studios and really, trying to put it down. And even when it wasn't all about you, you was just hanging. Like, it's almost like you the coach in the skybox, because even if it didn't go well, or if it was something you was thinking, be like, bro, y'all need to do it like this. Or, man, go ahead, pull out that other record, because that sound like this. And it'd be like icing on the cake. And so I wasn't even thinking about you for this project till, Dollar brought it up. And I was like, man, you know what? I'm going to just let this go. Because I got a feeling something magical going to happen. This going to be the icing on the cake for this album. And it turned out, it got people crying, dog. People calling me crying, because the way the album is like sinking in. When they hear it and then they hear the commentary from you, and it's just like, dang, you taking breath away. Like, that's what the game be missing. So I mean, what's your trick, man? What's the formula?
Man, look. I mean, I don't really have no tricks or nothing, you know what I'm saying? I just, y'all ask me to do a thing, I do a thing, And and if anybody who's listening to that listened to the project and was moved by what I'm saying, you too can hire me for a nominal fee. You know what I'm saying? I will work with your budget, but no, man.
Quick turnaround.
Exactly. I work with budgets and all that, but no, you hit me up and y'all like, we need this, and we, and I was, and like I told y'all before we started recording, I was sitting there thinking about how am I going to approach this? How am I going to attack this? Like, I know you don't want me to do the pain in the ass thing from the old Jay-Z joints. And I know y'all don't want me to drop no extra, no super extra spoken word stuff.
Right.
Like Big Rube was doing on them, on all the Dungeon Family joints or whatever. But I knew y'all needed something from me. And y'all know I'm a gamer from way back.
Yeah,
One of my favorite games is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And there's this part at the beginning of the game, on the original version of the game, where Richter Belmont confronts Dracula, and Dracula has this line, like they're going back and forth arguing, and Dracula has this line, and he's like, "What is a man but a miserable little pile of secrets?" And he just throws the glass. And in the grand scheme of things, all of the voiceover content in that game is cheesy as hell, but that line, the delivery of that line, it stayed with me. You know what I'm saying? So whenever somebody asks me to do any kind of voiceover thing, or they ask me to edit something or something like that, I try to give them exactly what they're asking me for as quickly as possible, you know? And as far as me being loyal to the culture, I mean, I'm loyal to my people, you know?
Yes, sir.
I'm loyal to my people. Like you were one of the first people I met when I ended up at UNO. When I moved in Bienville Hall. And I'm trying to remember exactly where I met LaDialogue at. But I remember we talked, and he ended up giving me a copy of the first Foreign Exchange album.
The Dialogue?
Mm-hmm. The Dialogue.
Wow.
It's like old.
I still got that CD.
That's so full circle that you say that, because when we were working on, when we decided to actually form a project, the whole Plug In, I told him, I was like, man, the way this is going is exactly the way Connected happened for Fonte and Nicolay. Now, keep in mind, it was very rare to get a project like that back then, you know, with a producer and an MC emailing files back and forth, and it was groundbreaking. And so it really turned into not only a trend, but a way of life for many artists, you know, over the years. Yeah, and so we back to that totally. Like, ain't nobody really visiting studios. I mean, it's round. I mean, like I recorded a verse on the phone, and I had to edit everything for a school like a couple weeks ago. I don't do that, but that's what it's down to. And so, you know, by this album coming out right now, and just all of the things that go into it, because what people don't understand, which I hate that the value music, they don't understand the hard work that goes into the production, the overall production aspect, if you're gonna do it right to make it sound good. And so, you know, like really, man, the verse has been done for the most part, but we were just kind of going back and just tweaking and just adding elements and just making it full, so that, you know, the consumer or the listener will get the full effect of how, you know, an album, an LP needs to sound, because people not even making LPs anymore with themes and, you know, stuff like that. You'll get a couple of compilations, or they putting scraps together, and I'm guilty of that too. But just far as just thinking it through, man, that's rare. And so for you to go back to that Connected, bro, man, I ain't gonna even lie, that's like my favorite album cover. Like, I got it, I think it's in my garage somewhere, but like, it's simple, but it's not even the artist on the cover, you know, I don't think. But I mean, it's like, it means a whole lot, that whole process. And so, like, man, that's crazy that you remember that. But now you like messed up my head, because like that came out when?
That was like 04.
03, 04, yeah.
So wait, but see, this is the thing where I'm confused, because Dialogue was in Mic Check 2003.
I mean, 2003.
2003. That was the last one we did in New Orleans, in the trilogy in New Orleans.
Yeah,
And
it
so,
might have been. It might have been something else that
I knew you were there. You were there at the
was.
State Palace Theater.
I was there.
And
That might
so,
have been where I met LaDialogue.
and that's what I'm thinking. But even before that, like there were a few shows. Now think back now. Moose stayed in the dorm too, as you know, correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Moose had the Urban Groove situation and the ABD production thing. He had like 3 companies, but he was kind of we were partnering and doing some things with him the summer of '01 and '02, because I remember we did a 420 show at Cafe Brazil with you came. It was crazy. I didn't know what 420 was back then until I got there. And I was like, man, this some crazy stuff, you know. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter what we did. We was rocking, and it was blowing, and it was just all good. And so, like, I think Dialogue did some stuff with Moose, because Moose was reaching out to Eric. Moose was hungry, you know. Like even when I left New Orleans and bounced around, like man, Moose was hanging that underground hard, because I think he was mad that we didn't pull him in for mic check. But I had so many people, so many hands on deck for mic check, to where
everybody was in mic check.
You remember that night when we didn't know we was gonna make money, and we made enough money. We broke everybody off. I remember we paid like 20 people that night. You got paid that night?
Who, me?
No, Coke.
I'm like working.
You wasn't working?
I wasn't working, nah.
Okay, I know John was working. See, that's how many people, because we had the crew from the TV show, and then we had other people, and I'm not talking about the DJs. That's a whole different story. But with the crew, bro, we made so much money the first night. We basically gave gifts to everybody. So everybody went home, however they got home, because there was no Uber, you know, and people was catching the bus, people was catching rides, because we didn't know how it was gonna turn out. Man, everybody got paid that night.
Matter of fact, I remember the one I went to, the joint at the State Palace. I remember that joint because McMahon was in it. Bionic Brown was in that joint.
No, not in 03.
No, he wasn't in 03. He was there. But he wasn't
champion. But everybody was there though.
Everybody was there that night.
Everybody was there.
Universal was one of the judges, and I was talking to
I think it was on it too.
It was Truth. It was Raj, and I want to say, was it WAP? It was Psycho Ward, another Psycho Ward, I think.
It might have been Big Chief.
I remember Truth and Raj because I lost the proper English by 1 point, and I remember asking Raj, I'm like, "Is that New Orleans bias?" And he just like kind of smiled. You know how Rod be like, because I'm like, now prop no, I was flaming. That first dude, I don't even remember him. He just, it was nasty. But prop no, I was like, he even kind of like, I'm gonna prop stand on stage like, it can go either way.
Yeah.
And it was like 1 point.
You know why he said that?
What?
Because the year before, that's what happened to him and Chuck. It was like 14, 13. And he tried to put this line together about something because we were sending the winner to Philly, but it was something about Oakland and San Francisco, and he stumbled over San Francisco, and that's why. Because I think he would have beat Chuck, or it would have been a tie and went to overtime. So that's why he told you that it could go either way, because in his heart he felt like, man, I should have won. I should have been on that plane to Philly, but. Yeah, that's crazy.
I was like, prop. It was like, because it was like, you know, the effortless crew. But that's what had happened because we had battled our respective little bracket and we met up in the semifinals. And then, you know, I don't know who won that year. I forget.
2003. Don't even make me lie, bro.
I don't even remember.
We're gonna have to go back to another YouTube.
Yeah, because I know. I mean, because me and Prop was in the semifinal, so if Prop went on, he must have hit the last person. Because it was like it was a Renaissance Records. I remember the boy Codeine. That's what I'm saying. That's why Bionic was there. Renaissance Records was in the house.
Yeah, so they were promoting hard.
So Codeine. What's that group they had? They had like a Latin group called CAC. They were doing like they were doing
pushing.
reggaeton before like reggaeton for real. I remember that. And then dang, who else I remember? I mean, my homies was there obviously, but it was like the whole NO. Somebody told me that Currency was there. I can't say that, but he probably was that era because it was like that early Young Money, and Wayne was around a lot of the underground stuff that was popping off in the city. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, he probably was there. You know,
that was an interesting night because the sound. I remember the sound went out when we tried to do our the sound was janky, and so we had to do our set, the Effortless, because we were still pushing that album. And the funny part was, I think Prop performed because Prop was in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, that boy is so hungry though. Like, because when I met him because I recruited him for My Check 02. And that's when I moved back to Baton Rouge. And so a dude sends me an email saying I want to get in the back. I'm the one. And he was like, you from Baton Rouge? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, you the one from Baton Rouge? Because right in my mind, I'm like, man, the best rappers from New Orleans, straight up and down. Like out here, man, the Baton Rouge cats wasn't really about that. You know, they were scared to come to the NO. And I'm like, man, y'all need to come to NO to, you know, show them what you working with. Not saying y'all bad, but they just wasn't thinking like marketers. Even like Boosie and them, nobody was trying to go down there. You know, they were scared. So Prop was like, man, come meet me at such and such. So I met him, and the same night he took me to his apartment, which basically half of it was a studio. It was crazy. This one downtown Baton Rouge was a ghost town. They had one apartment complex on 5th Street. Bruh, when I tell you, within 2 days I started recording there because they used to record every night. I was like, yeah, he dope. I was like, all right, cool, you can get in. Because at that point, it was so popular. You know, the first battle we had, man, we did like NCAA tournament. So it was almost 64 different MCs. And so going farther, we got judges. And then we was like, man, we can't have more than 32 in that thing. Maybe 16 good ones. Because the thing is, you got 64 MCs, half of them trash. You know, they're spitting writtens. You know what I'm saying? Like we was like, we can't do that. So I put him in. I was like, yeah, you could go, but Dan, Coke, why you had to do that, bro?
What are you going to get the CD?
No, Coke.
What's up?
This a question.
What's up?
Because we try to keep it real cool on the show, and you just start dropping names. Who McMahon had the battle though?
I don't even.
That's what he. Oh, my bad. I said McMahon. King J.
He was King J back then.
Yeah. Ooh.
Definitely. I got it.
Turn it over. That's the black CD.
Yeah, that's a black CD. Yeah. I got one of them. I got two of them. I got one that's a green. That might have been a burn joint. And then I got the real joint.
He got one from the studio. Coke. Who won the battle?
I don't remember.
I got that too.
What you mean you don't remember? If listen, I want you to think about this now. We're putting dots together. If the dialogue battled proper English in the semifinals,
I'm a guess he battled the dialogue.
First round knockout, my man. I'll never forget. I got the footage in the bag. I'll never forget that because, man, I ain't gonna lie. Like, King used to walk around, and so because you used to see him at Xavier, right?
No, he went to Xavier. He went to Xavier. He went to
same department. It was crazy.
Yeah, he went to Xavier. He might have been there a year before I went.
Yeah, he was there. He started at Xavier when I was at Xavier because I went to Xavier for 2 semesters.
Oh, okay.
But see, he and we like the same age, so I remember taking business classes.
I graduated from St. Aug with him.
Yeah, he went to Aug.
Oh, the resumes are coming out. Okay. Man, he was. I ain't gonna lie, he was flossed out. He was like, man, you know, it's about me tonight, and that Memphis got on it. Ooh, I already knew because we had the boy in the booth already. And that's the thing, like, I had to really play devil's advocate and just be real humble and real just discreet about a lot of stuff because I didn't want to people to think that I was rigging the battle. Because one, I was one of 4 partners. And so I'm only one guy. And so I think that helped the balance to where people like understood like I'm just one dude and we got a whole system. So it ain't my fault I know dope MCs. It's not my fault that I roll with some of the best. But they say they want to battle. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Let them battle and let the judges handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And that might got smoked that first round. That's what I do.
That might have been the time when I started actually writing songs, because up to that point, I mean, before I got to Xavier, man, me and King Kane, we weren't writing songs in Memphis. We was off the top. That's why, I mean, it is something where it's something that you have to kind of develop. Like when they say Jay-Z goes into the booth and he just spit out 16, I'm like, I think people think, like, I've only seen me, J Double. I've only seen a few people in my life that just 16, like Jay-Z punch in. Even Guru says that. Like Jay-Z will do 14 and he'll do 12. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm talking about off the top, bam, 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 coherent, and then we doing songs like that. So, you know, by the time I was meeting guys battling in the streets and how I would air them out, because that was the era when dudes started trying to write and you can hear it. Like now, people write and they'll do it so ambiguous. I'm gonna tell you who the best guy I remember that used to do it was Jay Mills, who ended up signing to Young Money. He was real good with it. He did riddance. He comes out and says that years later, but he would leave it open to be like something, you whack, and he could put your name in it, but the bar
it was fill in the blank. It was fill in the blank.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, because he was like, man, I used to have like 20 of them. I said, nah, I battled a dude on Xavier's campus, and I knew he had riddance. I just ran him out of his riddance because he would go and I bam, 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 and he would do another one. I would bam, 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 bam. But when he started trying to the freestyle, I just murdered him. And it was just like, all right, well, dialogue won, because I'm gonna run your riddance out, and your riddance have to be, even when you pre-write. I feel I would gauge out. I'll tell you some of my battle secrets. I would gauge out how you would do it. Like if I felt like you was real good on the beat, I'll go acapella. If I felt like you was good acapella, hey, throw on the beat. And that's how you know who was really there to battle. Like when me and Mac Main were battling, I think one time we battled on beat, one time we battled on Xavier's campus, acapella. You ain't gonna burn me acapella. Because the way I rap, just naturally Memphis is gonna have a bounce that's a consistent bounce. Even when I'm doing the twisting and whatever, it's gonna have a consistent bounce. Even you have a consistent bounce. J Double has a consistent bounce. Well, actually, Double he's been chopping up his styles now, so it's like it's still him, but it's like a little bit harder. But like the old Double, it would be like this is like it would be consistent bounce though. Yeah. And I think that's because he rolled Rick Ducci. Rick Ducci he'll do the 4/4 signature measures. He be doing like 3/4 and then bounce off like kind of crazy timing on the beats and stuff. But yeah, man, you know, they know who I was down there with them freestyles, man.
Yeah, they know.
On these campuses.
I'll tell you what hurt my heart. I mean, that like talking about this now, I'm really like in the moment, because I'm like, damn, like y'all, you and Prop, y'all both fans, and that's just how the battle ended up happening. You know what I'm saying? In the bracket.
Yeah.
Mike Tech 2001. J Double, the best battle, or top two, because they had like 2 or 3 that were really good. The best battle, first round. And I'm sitting in the house. We had a house uptown. So we pulling names, all the names in the hat. You pulling names. J Double battles Bionic Brown. And we living 4 doors down in the dorm. So I'm seeing this meeting. All right, so
2001, I was living across the hall from Double, man.
All right, so watch how this works. The Angel song, the second verse, I'm talking about the night where it was like a Sunday night where me and Lil Joe was driving back from Uptown to go to UNO to go to school the next morning. We get pulled over by like 16 cops. And so they jump out with guns, all that. And so, like I said, it's real. Like it happened, you know, we got out of the situation. I didn't get crazy. He didn't get crazy. We didn't have nothing on us. My car had gotten stolen 6 months before that. they never took it out of the system. So they thought we was on the run. But, you know, like we didn't get slammed, they didn't put us on the ground, but, you know, it was a process. And so that same night, like 5 hours before that, we pulled the names out the hat for the battle that was taking place Friday night. So the whole week, and I got pulled over by the cops 2 other times because it still was in the system. And like I said, I'm going between UNO and Uptown every day because we had a show to run at Fox, and then Big Joe stayed on upper line or lower line. So I'm going back and forth. I got pulled over 2 more times. I'm just mad. But the whole time, I'm seeing my boy J Double at the end of the hall, like every morning. Like we the early birds because I had to go to work. And so he had class between 8 and 11. But I can't tell him, like, I know who you got to battle. You know, because we seen the preliminaries, the tryouts. We had tryouts, and we knew the top 5 MCs. 2 of them was J Double and Bionic. So we get to the venue, and you know, J Double wear the Wu-Tang shirt, and man, the boy Bionic pulled out this line that was so cold, you know, because I was around the Iron Flag and all that, and so he was like, you know, I see you got he had a Wu-Tang chain. You got the Wu-Tang chain. They ain't had a good album in a long while. I see that's where you got your style. But it was going back and forth. It was straight off. It was off the top. And I'm like, and like that's like the gift and the curse of just being like, you know, an overseer of the whole thing. But it's like, shit, man, the boys was about their stuff. Man. Stuff, bro. It was crazy. And that whole, like I said, that same night when we made all that money and broke everybody off, man, it was so packed, bro. It was so packed in that place. And I ain't gonna lie, that was my first night event throwing. I was kind of shook because, man, we ain't had no security. That was the other thing. Like, I learned a lot that night. The DJ that they booked, he was a competition DJ and not a battle DJ. Bro, he didn't show on time. In the crowd, Psycho War was there. So Big Cheese and EF and them had their stuff in their trucks. And so we end up basically like, we're not going to pay you. We're going to give you $20 to go home. The first DJ. So we didn't start on time. It's supposed to start at like 9 or 10. We ended up starting at like 11 because Big Cheese and them got to bring their stuff through. So in turn, they making calls. They like, yo, so-and-so got to go get some more records from the house, this and that. And so I remember this perfectly because Prodigy had dropped in December. So they was in a record pool, so they all had the Cold Loud Records Prodigy sweatshirts. The whole Big Cheese, everybody. I'm like, man, these boys. So at this point, I'm like, well, shit, y'all could bring 20 people in. I don't care. You're like, we just need some music and some cuts. And they came through. Because I ain't gonna lie, they kept spinning that Big L, boy. The Big L beats off that Ruckus. Ooh, body. And so it turned out real good. But man, we had no security. They had cats walking around with, I seen a dude with a bulletproof vest on. A dude walked through, one of the sponsors from Uptown, All Star Records. Man, this cat, they made the t-shirt. Man, this cat was walking around because I gave him a performance spot for sponsoring t-shirt. Man, this cat had like a holster on, son. I'm like, man, it's going down tonight. Like, you know, and then you had the white boys, who was that? The gray area going up against Universal now. So, you know, they going back and forth. Like, I'm gonna see you outside.
This is back when Truth was extra angry. You know, like nobody that was lacking melanin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Truth, man. I was like, Truth, boy.
it was thick. And the only, but the cold part is the only way that would happen. If that wasn't in New Orleans like that, so we had no judges, no security, nothing. That couldn't happen anywhere else. Because people love music way too much. People love quality live music way too much to just throw it away.
Yep.
And so, you know, that's you. Now, where you originally from, Coach?
All right, so I was born on a Wednesday night in late May in 1980 in Chicago, Illinois. And we moved to Reserve, Louisiana, where my dad is from. Well, my daddy was from. about a year later. And I grew up in Reserve. I went to St. Aug in New Orleans from 94 to 98. And I went to school in New Orleans, did 2 semesters at Xavier, did a couple of years, half taking classes, half bullshitting at UNO. And, I took a couple of years off because financial aid was a fool and student loans was a fool. And started working on getting back into school when Katrina hit. And
that FEMA check.
Man, that FEMA check went directly to sustaining myself up at Grambling, because that's where I ended up. And that's where I finished my degree at Grambling in 2008. And I came back to New Orleans, and I've been down here ever since.
Hey, I asked you that because, what I'm about to share, this verse, like, I think it was around time when the FEMA checks was about to come out, or we was waiting on them. Because I know, I ain't gonna lie, I got my money first. And so Double didn't get no money because he was staying with his at his grandma's house, and they had other family members in the house, adults, and so they had already filed the stuff, and they wasn't breaking nobody off if you wasn't grandma. And so, like, man, dog, I ain't got what I need. I was like, bro, I got a little extra. We're gonna go to Baton Rouge. We're gonna go record whatever you got. We're just gonna record it. And so the After the Storm mixtape, that was the first product out of that 3-album session, because J Double recorded so fast, we took 2 days and we left with like 40 songs. And so the Rockbox music got recorded there. The Rockbox movie, we edited the video, it just went down, all off with a couple dollars. And so I remember you, when you came back, you was like, bro, like, man, I'm about to go to Grambling. I'm gonna get this money. Man, I'm gonna rap. Like, you had that hunger. He was like, man, I'm gonna rap. And so even like right before that, before Katrina happened.
That was before I learned the ugly truth that them balls ain't really in me.
Wait, no, I'm confused. No. Explain. What you talking about? The ugly truth. What's up, though?
What do you mean, man?
I ain't no rapper, man. Like, I ain't no rapper.
No.
Nah,
man. No,
but you
can.
Because we pull you out the dark and you go hard on anybody.
Yeah.
That's what they don't know. That's the title of the secret.
Yep.
They don't know that, from the biggest dude in the crowd to the smallest dude in the crowd, you don't know who you gonna get it from. And that's the part I love. I know the backstory, so we could get it. So I remember, okay, so we're talking about the Shotgun House.
Mm-hmm.
What you remember about the Shotgun House on Clearview?
On Clearview?
Yeah.
Man, like I was telling you before, that joint reminded me of a set piece out of Silence of the Lambs a little bit, because it's so nondescript on the outside. Just like Buffalo Bill House, like it would, like, that joint was nuts. You walk in the house and you just go straight to the back, and the studio was in the back.
The booth was in the back. They ran a long corridor because it was 3 rooms. The first room was where the computer was, with the Pro Tools. They ran a corridor, so his bedroom, I think his bedroom was in the middle, and then he ran the corridor to the back. And so we had this a CD. And so I remember when J Double learned how to work Pro Tools, the F12. That was all he knew. He's like, F12, we're gonna just record. So he'd be on the mic talking about run it. And it got the feedback because you were on the other side with the mic. And so all I don't know if OT went to sleep that night. Where was OT? I don't know. But it went, J Double went crazy because he knew F12, and the boy had a stack of beats. So he'd been loading the beats in the computer. It was bad. He was loading the beats in the computer. OT went to sleep. And then Coach, I don't even know how you got that, but we was just in that thing. And he was like, man, go. And so the vocals weren't mixed. Nothing was mixed. And so that's why when we went to Baton Rouge, we had to fix everything, because luckily we didn't put no effects on. So everything was flat, and it was like his stuff was high, and I was real calm because of my voice. And I was like, man, we had to do surgery. But Man, the verse you popped off, this one, I just trip out on the way you started. So
You
I'm gonna
talking
put
about the 85 joint?
the 85.
Yeah.
The 85. Like, and so that's the other thing. J Double learned how to he started looping his own stuff. And so Rob at the studio in Baton Rouge didn't like that because he was like, man, you gotta quantize and do this and do that. Like, don't just be chopping up stuff and bringing it here, but then I gotta redo it. J Double don't care about that. He like, man, we just gonna run the beat. So he snatched that Biz Marquee and was like, man, Colt, you here? You might as well just go in now. Did you freestyle this verse? What was going on?
Yeah. It was freestyle. I was stumbling over words and shit.
All right, so this is funny. This is, I mean, it's classic.
Oh,
The first 4 lines, classic.
Colt 2004.
Y'all can hear that?
1985, bitch. Coke, not a nice MC, nigga, please. Y'all niggas talking like y'all full of that E. Cause out of our flow, so many of y'all wanna be G's that I got a body count bigger than GTA 3, and that's with the codes on. Y'all cats flaunting your bodies like strippers and thongs. Or better yet, kinda like you lost your soul, lost control, and I'm about to come through and snatch the globe. Run through flow like dust and rolls, dropping bionic elbows and taking control. Rappers can't handle the beat. It's kinda like they lost control and beating they.
I'm not gonna play the rest. They lost control of beating. Wow. I was dying in the front because I'm like, man, and you know, we used to freestyle the dorm all the time, so I knew you had that gas. But I was like, golly, this 04.
it was 2004.
The boy was talking about the GTA 3 and just.
Yep.
I love it, bro. Just you always got the hip hop, but it's the video game inside of you that just overrules all of it. With the wrestling, Dusty Rhodes, you know,
Man, Dusty was like one of my faves, man. Like it was like Dusty, Mick Foley, Ernie Ladd, Butch Reed.
oh, Rusty Boys.
Yup.
You used to like ECW. See, I know.
I like ECW, but like my love for wrestling like started probably with Mid-South.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Them Bama Boys. Oh,
Mid-South wrestling, man.
Well, no, that's us.
I know.
No,
that's Memphis.
Mid-South was not Memphis. Mid-South, that territory was originally in Oklahoma. Bill Watts bought the territory out from under his partner, and they expanded down into Louisiana. And the centerpiece city for the territory was New Orleans. The Municipal Auditorium, St. Bernard Civic Center, and they had their big shows in the Superdome.
Okay.
They had a show, the only time wrestling has ever taken place in St. John Parish. They had a show in 1986 at East St. John High School in the gym.
Yeah.
Main event of that show was Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death Steve Williams versus Terry Gordy and Michael P.S. Hayes. I know this because the show benefited the junior high school. They were trying to get new band uniforms. My mama, so back in the day, the territories would like do this thing where you could call up to promote the company, and they would let you book a show to benefit your group, your organization or whatever. And so my mama called them and got them out there to do the show in reserve. And me and my older brother, Lord bless the dead, we sat there with the little folder. We booked the card, man. Had the Missing Link out there. Had Terry Taylor out there. Rick Steiner was in that thing. Jack Victory. Chavo Guerrero. No, it was Hector Guerrero. Was it Hector or Chavo Classic? I don't remember. It was one of them. It was a Guerrero at the show. But yeah, man, that show was live.
I know it was.
That joint was live. But
no
yeah,
tricks. Man. That's crazy.
Yeah,
So I
man.
mean, the video games and the wrestling. How does all that correlate with the podcast you've been having?
So my podcast, me and the homie Martin, I met him in a chat room of another podcast that don't none of us listen to because the dude that ran the show was a piece of garbage that we found out a little bit later. But nah, man, Martin and I are both big wrestling fans. He's from the UK and came over here about 15 years ago or so. But we met, we would talk about video games all the time. We talk about wrestling all the time. And he had me on his podcast, on an old podcast of his a couple of times. And I had a good rapport with those co-hosts and with him. And so that podcast ended. A little while later, he was like, I want to do another podcast and I want you to be the co-host. And so we started, we were talking about what we wanted to talk about, discussing what we wanted to talk about on the show. And we were like, well, we both like wrestling. We both like indie stuff, indie wrestling. We both like video games. And we really like indie video games. So we're going to talk about all of that on the show. And originally we were doing 2 episodes a week. One that was just wrestling and one that was just video games. But that got to be a lot. So we just combined it, and now we talk about if one week has more wrestling news than video game news, we do that. Then vice versa. Sometimes we don't talk about either one. We have an interview. Like we had the dude that the guy that runs Chikara, which is an indie promotion out in Philly, Mike Quackenbush. We had him on the show one time and just were like, Mike, run it. You got the mic. And we just gave Mike Quackenbush an open mic for a while.
Yeah.
We've had Keith Lee, who's the current NXT North American champion. So he's with WWE. We had him on right before he signed with them. We had most recently we had this guy Mike on the show, who is the head of the team at RetroSoft Studios, who they're about to release a game called Retro Wrestling, which is the sequel to the old WrestleFest arcade game.
Oh,
so they got the license they got the blessing from Technos Japan, which is owned now by Arc System Works, who does all the Guilty Gear games and the Dragon Ball game that came out last year that set everything on fire. But yeah, we love video games. We love wrestling. I mean, y'all can see behind me, that's all my old stuff. My PlayStation stuff is around here, my PS4 stuff. But yeah, man, it's when you love something and you can talk about it effortlessly. See, I wrote that back in.
He was sitting on it like.
Nah, but when you can talk about a thing and you have a good rapport with somebody and y'all can make that work, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Definitely, definitely. Because what people forget, within the hip hop culture, man, we got a lot of heads who are in comics, old vintage movies, old vintage games, just straight up gamers, and and wrestling. And so that's the cool part about our crew. Like, I'm the odd one out. I always feel funny. I've been to a couple comic conventions. Shout out to D. Francis. But I stopped watching wrestling when WWF stopped. And so I just, I never really got
when they became WWE, when they lost that lawsuit to the World Wildlife Fund.
Yeah. I had to let it go, But and I don't really play games. Like I said, it's like 3 games I really like, and they're old because the new controllers, there's too many buttons for me. Like, it's like doing a math problem. I can't really do
it. You
Right.
know what though? I've heard people say that before, man. Once you get the controller in your hand, and you got to start out with a simple game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To learn the controller. That's why I appreciated the Wii when it came out, because they had a game called Wii Play, and the Wii Play like came with a remote. Basically, you use that as you bought that joint, and it was a tutorial for the remote, for the Wii remote.
Right.
But yeah, I always suggest to people, man, find a Pac-Man on any console. Like, find a Pac-Man joint. That's the easy way to learn a system.
Okay.
Also, a joint on there's also a joint that then came out on everything called Downwell that I really like. It's procedurally generated. Basically, you are jumping down a well. You're jumping down this like cavern, and you gotta shoot your way down. And it's like one button.
Okay.
Tap that button, and as you're tapping that button while you're moving around with the directions or whatever, you're shooting down. So that's a good way to learn a controller and learn how that joint works. You know what I'm saying? To get it to feel good in your hands, because that's at the end of the day, man. A good controller is like, holding your partner in your hand. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get used to it. You gotta get used to how they feel in your hand.
Good analogy.
Hey,
bro.
I was an avid watcher. Like, he had the 8-bit animal on YouTube because I got the money to do that. Like, to buy the new systems, I just don't. Like, it used to be back in the days, they didn't have money. I might get the PlayStation 5, but I do so much music, I don't really.
You don't have the time.
I bought another. No, actually, I called Mr. J. I just bought another board. Like,
Yeah.
I bought another board, but like, But them 8-bit games, when you were on the Tecmo Bowl J Double joint, when you was kind of spitting that, I was like, okay, that gets me. The whole project is nostalgic anyway, but I was like, oh, they don't know nothing about that 256. You know what I'm saying? They don't know nothing about these 8-bit games. And I mean, there's always an essence there that even in my beats, I always try to, and people call it lo-fi. I really say it's like a Memphis sound, because not because, whatever, it was just when you recorded on tape, the dynamics just sounded a certain way. But I always kind of go to 8-bit 8-bit soundtracks to kind of get inspiration, because those chips, I just bought a storage, like external joint for like 2 terabytes. I think some of those Nintendo things was like something millibytes. It was like so small.
It was kilobytes, yeah.
It was like terrible. Like, I think it was 120, was it 140? Well, no, I'm sorry, 1048 or 1028 in 1 megabyte, I believe, or 1 gigabyte. It might be 1 gigabyte, but they might have had like 10 megabytes, or it was just a tiny amount of space to do all of that music. And that's like remarkable.
If you're trying to find if you want to get any of those soundtracks, there are places that are selling those soundtracks on vinyl.
Oh yeah, like one of my cheat codes is Koji Kodo, and I listen to a lot of, like, because now they've taken one of my favorite, and I don't really sample a lot of it, but Chrono Trigger. One of my favorite games. That's one of them games I'll sit down and play. But they have taken those old 8-bit games and done orchestra scores on it.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, dang. But I mean, it was so much in those, it was so much you could build upon. That's why I always wanted something like what we've done. I didn't really go like real big on a lot of the beats. I kept it underground, looped it up grimy. But I would love to have one day like a Tiger Woods, effortless something, symphony orchestra, whatever, where they build upon it bigger, because I can write that music to make it like that. But yeah, man, like when you start talking that 8-bit stuff, I used to see it come up on YouTube. I'd be like, yep.
Oh, fun fact.
Pennsylvania, yep.
I haven't done one in a while.
Yeah, you haven't done them in a while.
The last thing I put on YouTube was when I unboxed the Metal Storm joint.
Okay.
The collector's edition that just came out. But I am batting around the idea of maybe bringing that old thing back.
Man, you need to, man, because you know it was between you and Angry Nintendo Nerd, for real, like the era, because he actually rebranded himself, and then he started putting his old videos back up. Like he's doing, like, I don't even think he called it Angry Nintendo Nerd. It's just like Angry Nerd now or something.
AGN or something like that.
Yeah, like Angry Gaming Nerd or something. But you were doing it at the same time, because when I would look at your videos, they would suggest his videos.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so it wasn't that many people really doing the commentary, and you had the New Orleans on it. You know what I'm saying? You put the, you know what I'm saying, the Louisiana flavor on it. So I'm like, oh, okay, you sounded different. And even when a game was bad, you weren't giving.
I'm not
like,
about
he was just raging. Like, this shit sucks.
Like, dude, I can't be out here screaming at you.
Yeah, he was screaming at the screen and throwing his beer and hopping over the couch, and
also,
like, nah.
Also, I'm not wasting beer.
True. Yeah, he would like throw the beer and be like, this is some beer, and throw it down. Like, you still got beer in there, man. You got beer. Like, what are you doing?
You're wasting a perfectly good Rolling Rock. Like, chill out.
But yeah, man. But yeah, I used to love those joints, man. Like, cause I'm not as big wrestling, like you said, the wrestling. I just remember Jerry Lawler. I'm from Memphis. So
Yeah,
even the hood dudes that went to the wrestling.
Yeah,
and
you remember Jerry Lawler. You probably remember Lord Humongous.
I remember the Rock's daddy. I remember Rocky Johnson. I remember everybody came through Memphis as a kid. Cause I was like, I remember him. I remember one.
The Rock came through Memphis.
Yeah, Rock came through Memphis. It's like a lot of people came through.
He was Flex Cavana.
Yep. It's like old school Jeff Jarrett, dang, man. Yeah, the Crocodile Bill Dundee. I mean, sheesh, man. It was a good. You used to watch it before. No, take it back. After Saved by the Bell would go off on NBC, our affiliate in Memphis. It would come on, and it would be these two. It looked like these two guys, like Greco-Roman, and they'd be like, we'd be like, oh, stop, man, why this shit just be my cousins? And Corey.
Down here, it wasn't Memphis joints. It was Mid-South down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like in the middle of the night, because I would just wake up in the middle of the night. I would like play like I'm sleeping, then get up and go back to the living room and watch the joint from Dallas, World Class. It was,
okay.
Because they syndicated. They were like the first people to syndicate everywhere.
Because I remember Junkyard Dog.
Came from Mid-South.
Man, who was that? It was a brother. One of this dude's, like, me and the girl, we cousins, but it was another brother. Hey, what they call him? Something Man. It was like a lot of the guys that came through Memphis. Huh?
Iceman. Was it Iceman?
I think it might be Iceman. I think he lived in my neighborhood, if I'm not mistaken. Because his daughter went to my school, and we cousins. Okay. Like, for real.
I know.
So I'm like,
I think Brickhouse Brown was from Memphis.
Yeah, Brickhouse Brown. Because the reason I like the Memphis wrestling, because it was Memphis wrestling, and it was Memphis. So like the guy Corey, he died like a year or so ago. He used to be the commentator. He would have a suit on, the brother, and you know how like they would talk crazy to like some of the wrestling guys, and they would kind of back down. Corey would flex up like, "You got me messed up." He would put his fight down, and he boom. He would hop in the. I'm like, yo, this would be wild, man. They would give us tickets in elementary school. They'd be like, hey, if y'all want to go to wrestling, you get your grades up. Like, that's why I'm like, people say wrestling is fake and all that stuff, but I'm like, man, it was good.
It was exciting.
It was entertainment, man. It was entertainment, and it kind of took us from the environment that we knew. You know what I'm saying? Because we came from real violence, especially in the 90s, man. Everybody was, especially New Orleans. I know, like anything, Louisiana and Tennessee, we are two states that know. Because I don't know what happened. Well, I mean, we know what happened. But I mean, like the 90, 91, 92, and it's like when it started getting crazy, it was just like crazy. I remember Zach from Euphonetics. He had some cousins in South Memphis. When I first met him, he was like, man, I hear you rap, man. I can hear it in your voice, man. I know you from Memphis, man. He's like, the first time I went to Memphis, like, I think he had seen like a drive-by shooting or something. Like, he was like, I seen the dude come out and like busting. Like, he from DC, which, you know, it's wild out there. But he was just like, man, y'all really shooting out here, you know. But like, that was like on Saturday mornings, man. Mm-hmm. And you know, I did a song actually, Jerry Lawler's manager hit me up. This is a song on one of my mixtapes, 38127, and I call the song, it's called "Put the Fire in Your Face." Because you know, when Jerry Lawler would get beat up, he'll go into his whatever and pull out some matches and throw it in your face.
Oh yeah, he'll pull out fucking flash.
He pull like a little flash match or whatever.
Yeah. And
I had a song called "Put That Fire in Your Face" like Jerry Lawler, and I think his guy, I think his management hit me up because on Spotify. He was like, man, this joint is tight. I'm gonna let Jerry hear that joint. I ain't really hear back from him, but he heard that joint. It was like, you know, a lot of hardcore joint. But yeah, we remember that. You know, you get in the corner. Oh, he's out of there. Jerry Lawler with the fire. Boom. And like, oh, they might burn my face.
Skate move.
I was like, that's some cheap Memphis stuff. Let me get over here and throw some, you know, like on Blood Sport with Chung Lee. Like, man, damn, can see nothing. Like, oh, Chung Lee, you hopping up. I'm like, oh, Chung Lee, man, I hate this man. He do that. It looked like he threw some aspirin, like some BC.
Yeah, he was like crushed up like a
like some BC. Like, ooh. And just being in the hood, I'm like, man, why you throwing all that white away, man? We can sell it. He's throwing all that good dope. In Van Dam's eye. It was like, when they hit his eye, I can't see nothing.
I can't see nothing.
Catch the right home, he would have played a fly, son. He would have snipped that up. Like, what's up? We back fighting. Shoot, but man. Yeah, but yeah, Coke married those two worlds perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember, were you in Slank's video, the champion joint?
Yeah. That was
with the Mexican.
It's like, yeah.
So Slang, I done been in like 2 or 3 of Slang's videos with a lucha mask.
Well,
man,
okay, let me jump in there. So as I recall, and this is I think after you left, like this is when Tiger Woods really got hot and the sound clash and all that. So, you know, everybody would come, but this man, he would have a mask. Like, you used to be at the shows with a mask, right?
Yeah, I have a mask.
Yeah, and so that was the whole premise for all the videos and all that, because live and in person, you know, you got the dude on the stage with the mask on, just in the crowd, like, go down.
While I got both of y'all on here, I've already kind of told Mr. J, I got a T-shirt I'm working on. I'll tell you. Because I was going to surprise y'all, but I'm like, now, telling you now will make me have to finish it because I have to ink it in. I have a Tiger Woods T-shirt. Well, I have a few T-shirts that are coming. One T-shirt is just Tiger Woods. I got Tiger Woods in Japanese. So I got Tiger Woods. I wanted to put everybody's name in Japanese, but that's like overdrive because ain't nobody going to really understand it. But I'm going to have everybody's name on it. Then I have another one that's almost like anime style. So I got all of y'all on there. I got Colt, Jay, Double, Slankston, Francis, Blaze. I think I put Rusty on there. I put Lyrics on there. I got y'all from that era, but I think everybody got swords. I can show it to you. Man, I want to show it to you when it's done, but I got it drawn right now. But I got you in the mask, and you standing like this. Like when you know, like one of those Marvel kind of like T-shirts. And when I hit you up, when I just hit you up for your size, just let me know what the size is once I get it done, because I got to ink it in. I got it. And it's Tiger Woods, and I got Tiger Woods, and I got it in Japanese. That's going to be the way. You know what I'm saying? I got it in Tiger Woods. It looks beautiful, too. Like the way, when you see Tiger Woods in Japanese, you're going to be like, damn, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? But it was just some stuff I was playing with, because I'm like, man, it already has that feel, the wrestling, the 8-bit. I'm like, well, let me just marry something together. And with this coronavirus and subsequent uprisings. I have time to draw
Cause ain't nobody.
because I've always drawn. You know what I'm saying?
So let's put it
Yeah,
out.
ain't no. I'm looking outside right now. You know, so
When the shirt come
it's
out,
coming though. So yeah, it's coming. I'm working on a plugged-in shirt too. So I mean, the plugged-in shirt is probably done. I just gotta, you know.
yeah,
But it's coming though.
when the Tiger Woods shirt hit the market, they're gonna get the free. They're gonna get the new album.
Yes.
We're gonna go ahead and just put that out there.
All right.
Put that out there because it's done. Somebody else asked me about that. I was like,
I
man,
think we had a conversation about that recently.
yeah, we did. It's a lot of music, man. That's the fun part. Like, and the fun part is like when we were really like doing it, when everybody was moving around, you know, so everybody was just kind of pop in there on the sessions or you know, just hang out, and the music come together. You know, it's just real organic. Of course, that's what's missing. That's what's missing, man. Cats, they thinking too hard.
True. I mean, I see Tiger Woods as a. Oh no, you go.
No, I was just saying that's usually how that goes. You know, people overthink things, and when you just keep it simple, you know, you make magic happen, man. Like the plugged in joint. Like I was overthinking it. When I stopped for a second, thought about what y'all need, really like just let myself slip into the music and figure out what y'all need. I was able to just give y'all what y'all needed.
Right.
You know?
You know, what people forget or they might not know, your major in school was communication, right?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, yeah, so we all that's what we got in common. like we used to mics, we used to putting advertisements and commercials together. Like we went to school for all of that when like this whole digital thing was non-existent. And so, you know, it's just that appreciation for the craft and what it takes. And so every win that we get is really it's a big deal. It's a Super Bowl win because I mean we've been on the other side. We've been on the other side with huge studios, all the money. We've been on the side where nobody was calling and you just had to, you know, get it how you live. And so right now we just kind of in the middle and, you know, we not signed up to be enslaved by nobody's company. And we just do it how we want to do it, which is fun, you know?
Yep.
I mean, right now, I mean, kind of where everybody is, at least distribution-wise, I kind of saw that at least 10. I remember telling Mr. J that around 2010, 2011, I'm like, I'm not dropping any more CDs. He's like, for real? Like, it makes sense to do it. And even with touring artists, like, you're breaking, I mean, there's other ways we can make the music go. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I do short runs of CDs, but like just exclusively, you got the CDs, nah. And I mean, you utilize the streaming, we're utilizing everything, you know?
Yeah. Like Al, for instance, I'll use him as an example. He doesn't, like, I think he sold out of all his CDs now. He sold out of like the last few copies of The Beautiful he had. All of his music now, he's selling it on flash drives.
Yep, fill it up.
If you sell it, you know, you sell it at the shows, you sell that one flash drive with a bunch of music on it for, you know, for the price of what cats used to pay for a CD.
Yeah.
Pay the $25, get the flash drive, you know?
You want to know something? I remember the underground tapes. I used to like, damn, who did I give? It was a few people that would ask me, hey man, give me all your projects up to whatever mixtape I dropped. So I would burn on that same burner 10 CDs in jewel cases, 50 packs of them, and I would sell them like that, like on bulk. Like if you get 10, I buy for 25. You know what I'm saying? And people send me pictures now when they cleaning up their house and stuff. They still got them CDs. Like, and people would listen to them because at one point there was so many going out. I was like, man, these folks ain't really listening to it. I gave a CD to Rob Nice one time, and I gave him a CD, and I was like, man, listen to my CD, whatever. This might have been 03, and I saw him at this is before he started doing. This was 2002. This was before the Pelicans because he was Well, it was the Hornets, but
yeah.
he started being like the house DJ kind of whatever. And I seen him, might have been outside of there or maybe on Xavier's campus. And I was like, yo, what up? He's like, man, yo, I like track. It was like whatever track. He was like, yo, I like that track. And that jump was going. I was like, oh, you listen to it? You know what I'm saying? And that was one thing that I loved, that people used to listen to the tapes. And they were long too. Like now, I mean, the plug in like 50 minutes. I used to buy 80-minute mixtape CDs, and we would fill it up, and people would listen to it top to bottom.
Skits and all that, boy.
Skits and everything.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Clown.
And it was in that world at that time. You know, we call girls and have those skits in there to snatch it. You know what I'm saying? And everybody would come through the studio, and it would be battles sometimes. I remember one time I invited Mercury from the Ildren. And I don't know if he ever recorded with me, but it was me, him, and Lyric Hill. And Lyric Hill did his verse freestyle. No, I'm sorry. Mercury did his verse freestyle. Then I came back and did it. Like, I was sitting there, rewind the beat, got on the mic, bam. And he looked like, yeah, we are of the same tribe. I think Chuck got on, Chuck does what he does. I'm like, yeah, ain't no pens to pad up in here. The only books I had was Mellow Heights pharmacy books to level out my microphone. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like that's how I know he's a pharmacist. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I know, like, these doctors, man, them books would be that big. I would take about 4 or 5 of them books and stack a mic on top of it, put a little mixing board on the side. Mr. J's been through there a few times,
Yeah. Good days, bro. Good acoustics.
Yeah, the room wasn't that big, living it up. Man, the memories, man.
Hey, all day. So look, this is what we gotta do, Coach. You gotta share your sites and how people can get in touch with you and listen to your podcast, all that. We can put the graphics up, but tell the people how they can, get up with you and see what's going on.
All right. Well, I'm pretty much on all social media. On Twitter and Instagram. I took my Facebook out back and shot it in 2011. But yeah, man, I'm on Facebook. On Twitter and Instagram at 8-Bit Animal. That's the number 8-BIT Animal. You can check out my site where it's kind of dormant right now, but I got some irons in the fire. I'm trying to bring some stuff back. That's 8bitanimal.com, spelled exactly like the Twitter handle. And you can check out my podcast, Retro Superplex, with the good brother Martin, at nerdylittlesecret.com. NERDYLITTLE secret.com. It's also on I want to say the last 50 episodes, the most recent 50 episodes are on Apple Podcasts. But yeah, the easiest way to find it is on nerdylittlesecret.com.
Yeah. And so, if they need you to cut a commercial or do a voiceover or any of that good stuff, or drop a hot 16, we're going to drop the email. Just email him directly. And, he'll give you the cash app and the invoice information as well. Because it's not the game.
At all. And look, the only games I play are the ones on my shelves.
Yeah. Definitely. So, we got LaDala DiCaprio here. We're about to sign off. Tell the people how they can get plugged in right now, because we about a few weeks into promotion. We cranking up. The first couple weeks were real good. So what's next? Where can they get it? Because I told them earlier we're on all streaming sites. But what do we need to know? Yep. What do they need to know?
All right, plugged in, Mr. J and LaDala DiCaprio. We are on Bandcamp, mrj.bandcamp.com. We're on Spotify, Tidal, Google Play, Apple Music. Just check us out on all streaming platforms. Maybe some remixes coming soon. You know what I'm saying? And some other upcoming merch that's coming. So stay tuned. For sure.
TGIF videos coming soon.
Yes.
We
Yes.
keep talking about that, but it's coming. It's on the way because every Friday it's a TGIF.
Yes.
So don't forget Overground. What we got? The Overground Sounds. What we got?
Oh no, just
TheOverground.com.
Yeah, it's just THAOVAground.com.
Lots of goodies there. MRJAI.bandcamp.com. So on that note, look out for us. Colt, A Big Animal, all throughout the album. So check him out, show him some love, because it's a lovely thing to have good people in your circle. This is Plugged In, saying questions. Thank you for sharing your time today. All we got is time, but it's valuable. So we appreciate it.
All right, man, no problem, bro. It's all love.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Until next time.
All right, man. It's good to see you, man. All right, man.
Thanks.
Peace.